Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We'll be kicking off in about 1 minute. We've still got some people joining, so just going to let people to continue to join the webinar. We'll go through some introductions. First of all, we'll talk through the agenda. We've got some questions, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end as well. But just to firstly really quickly introduce myself. My name is Lewis. I'm the Head of Marketplace and Partnerships here at Fixflow. I've been working for Fixo for 6 years, and my role involves essentially our contractor marketplace, as well as dealing with all of our wonderful integration partners, of which one is on the call today. Simon, I'll hand over to yourself.
Thanks, Lewis. My name's Simon Douglas. I'm the Lettings Director here at Umega in Edinburgh. Thanks very much for having us along today.
And Fraser.
Hi there, my name is Fraser Sutherland, Managing Director of SME Professional. For those of you who don't know us, we provide market-leading property software solutions to manage all aspects of lettings and sales businesses, similar to other popular CRMs, but hopefully a little bit more depth. But delighted to be invited along here today. We've been working with Umega since about 2015, so looking forward to discussion on the panel.
Great, thank you both, and yeah, thank you for joining. Really looking forward to diving into some of the topics today. As a reminder, we're here to talk about Umega mostly, and talk about some of the things that have driven their 127% growth in their lettings portfolio over the last 5 years, which is obviously wildly impressive. So just to talk through the agenda, we'll start off by handing over to Simon and just talking a little bit about Umega Lettings. We're then going to dive into the key challenges for property managers and some best practice as well, which we'll get some insight from Simon, obviously, as well as from Fraser, who's very experienced in this space, obviously with having so many clients who operate here. We'll finally do a Q&A at the end. So just as a reminder to everyone who's attending, there is an opportunity for you to ask questions. So there should be a little button on your screen for you to ask questions. I'll be reminding you throughout, but please do ask as many questions as you want. We'll turn to these at the end. Which you can see here. Yeah, so basically there's just a little button, just click Q&A, and we'll get to them at the end, as I say. And just as a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, so yeah, we'll send out a recording to you by the end of the week as well. So firstly, just a question to Simon, really, if you could just give us a bit of an oversight of Umega Lettings and particularly your portfolio growth story.
Yeah, of course. There's, I mean, our growth, Umega has been around for 16, 17 years, and I think we're in our 17th year. The vast majority of the growth has been organic. You know, we don't have a sort of storied history of acquisitions or anything like that. So there's a couple of key points in our history which I think do show a little bit of that type of growth, but most of it is organic. We made some small acquisitions in 2016, 17, which supplemented the organic growth that was taking place at the time. And we had huge organic growth in and around 16, 17, 18 and 19, which was great and really was propelling us up the way. We also won a contract with Edinburgh Living, which is an Edinburgh City Council MMR contract. They operate in the mid-market rent space here in Edinburgh, and that also added currently around 600 properties to our portfolio, and has the potential to raise to about 1,300. Obviously, the growth number there, 120% growth over 127% growth over the last 5 years, is a big number. We're not talking sort of 100 to 200 odd properties. It's really from sort of 900 to 2,200 in 5 years. So that scale of growth has been absolutely ginormous, and yeah, it's been great to be part of these last 5 years, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing to have seen it as well. Obviously, being part of that journey as well with you. Is this all kind of under one office? Do you have multiple branches in different cities? You know, where are these properties located on the whole?
So we're located in Edinburgh. We just moved from our Quartermile office. We were in Quartermile for the last 5 years. We've just moved to North Quarter, which is on Ferry Road here in Edinburgh. It's been a great move. We moved just at the start of this year, so it's allowed us. We have Umega Lettings. We also have Umega Estate Agency, and then we've got Umega Home Repairs, which is our home repair service, which we offer to our internal clients or to our own portfolio, but we also offer as an external service to residential homeowners in Edinburgh and also the wider Central Belt. So we're all under one roof at the moment. It's a squeeze. It's interesting at times. It's great. We've got a very busy, vibrant, bustling office. We are going to be opening an estate agency office this year, and that'll be somewhere obviously prominent in Edinburgh. We'll get a prominent shop front in Edinburgh. That's going to allow the estate agency service that we offer to live in that more traditional sort of estate agency setup. But yeah, we're currently all here at Ferry Road. And it's great. We're really enjoying it.
It's great to hear. So we've spoken a little bit about your growth journey there. If you had to single out one thing that really helps you along that, what do you think that would be?
Yeah, this is when I'm supposed to say fixed flow, right?
Obviously,
or SME, in
yeah.
fact. So to be fair, it's got to be one of the the software that we use and the power that those softwares give us in terms of our technical abilities are massive, right? And the work that both your companies do is essential to everything that we do in terms of property management. I must say, in terms of what really helps us, being really true and really reinforcing our belief that we work in a people business and not a property business is kind of the thing that I think I would attribute most to our growth. I think that it's so important that we prioritize the well-being of our clients, that we prioritize the well-being of our workforce, and I think that's what allows us to create an environment which allows for positive and sustainable growth. So as much as the softwares are an incredible supplement to that stuff, it's the core message of care and the core message of really looking after the people under our stewardship. I think that's what's really kind of set us apart and allowed us to have this really sustainable growth over the last 5 years.
Yeah, makes complete sense. Yeah, as you say, I think we agree with you that it's a people business and they've got to be the most important for sure. What would you say makes your team stand out from the crowd?
The tough one. I was looking at this one this morning. I was mulling it over when I was in the office there. I mean, literally stand out of the crowd. You'll not find any suits. You won't find any button-up shirt and ties. We don't have formal dress in our office. I think there might be somebody in the office that's got purple hair. So literally, that's what makes us stand out. In terms of what makes us stand out as employers or as a company, we just look for good people. Like when we're looking at the recruitment of people into the business, we try to establish very early on if we feel that they can do the technical stuff, right? We feel that they can actually do the job. That takes up a lot of the early stages of our recruitment process. Once we've established that somebody is or has the ability to come in and do the job, really the recruitment process after that is just about whether or not they're the right fit. They're the right fit for us, and if we're the right fit for them. And I guess we do that in a few ways through the recruitment process. We have a very casual, conversational. I guess the interviews are in depth, but they're more around people's experiences, people's attitude towards things, what they've experienced in their past, what is their previous experience sort of given them in terms of the tools to come in, and what are they going to offer us? What are they going to bring to the party if they come and work here? And I think that's most of the work that we do around recruitment. So bringing in the right people is key, of course, in every business. Bringing in the right people is key, but for us, it's really personality based, and once we've established they can do the job, it's whether or not they're a fit. And if they're not a fit, regardless of how good we think they could be technically or how well they could do the job, they're not for us. We make that decision, and we're pretty bold with that decision. Once we get them in the door, I think then that's the onus is on us as the employers, right? The onus is on us to fulfill those sort of promises and dreams that people get given during that recruitment process. We give them a good job. We give them a great environment to work in. We give them a place where they feel safe, they feel valued, and they feel trusted. And I think that if we can do that, if we can do that sustainably, if we can do that consistently, we can create a team of people, a core team of people that can do a really great job for us. Right now, we've got an absolutely incredible team of people, and who've all gone through a very sort of settled recruitment process now that we've had for a couple of years. And we've managed to build this team of people around us, which are just doing a brilliant job. They understand the mission, they understand the message. We care about people, and it's the people over properties, I guess, message. They get it, they buy into it, they understand it, and they want to come along with us. So it's not, you know, there's no secret sauce. We're not doing anything here that's like you're going to listen to this and it's going to blow you away and you're going to think, oh, why did I not think of that? It's really fundamental stuff. It's really basic stuff. Create a good environment for good people to do good work, and they'll respond, and that's definitely the case.
Can I add to that as well from external point of view? Is like, I think Omega reputation goes, you know, in front of them, and I think that comes from the directors down and the way the staff are treated as well. And yeah, just the quality of the customer service, I think, in the business is outstanding amongst a lot of the letting agents.
Yeah, and I agree with the messaging there, with your nod to the directors, to Neil and Andy. You can't fake that stuff, right? That comes from them, from the top down, because that's who they are, and it's so genuine. It just filters down to everybody, and that's me. I feel that way. I feel safe and valued as an employee, and I feel like I've got the tools to go and do my job. You know, we get all that training and everything that goes into it. All the technical fundamental stuff is there as well. But really, there's an element of care, and the people element, and that certainly comes from the guys at the top, for sure.
Makes complete sense. Yeah, I think you know, we'd agree. Yeah, to echo your point there, Fraser. Really, that cultural fit is so important. I think yeah, we mock one another with our dress code and things. If I'm wearing a suit and tie in the office, I'm asked where my job interview is and things like that. So yeah, I think it's definitely something we feel as well. So the next question is one for Fraser. Obviously you've got a vast array of clients who mostly and predominantly let property. What are the main processes that you'd say are involved for them when they're letting new property?
Yeah, so in terms of our software itself and what they'll be doing through it.
More or less everything, yeah. You know, how they're using your software, and just other processes that might be going on outside of that as well. Yeah,
that's fine. So I mean, we've got ultimately with our software, we believe in sort of putting forth a lot of integrations in the software. So we've got our standard CRM that can do everything they need it to do, but also there's then alternatives where they can hook different software platforms on. Like this is a really good integration we've got with Fixflow. But ultimately, our software will handle everything from pushing up the initial marketing feeds across all the real-time feeds, across all the major and most of the minor portals. We've got a full viewing system. It's a little bit different from most, and it integrates with Microsoft and Google's calendars and that side of things. Or alternatively, if we're not to use that, there's some great systems like Inspect Real Estate. We've got sort of nice viewing system. Our system then goes into tenant application mode, where tenants do all the work in terms of getting all the information together and pushing it through, which can then, after that, bounce out to various different referencing integration providers like Let Alliance to do a great service there. And again, after that, we again provide the options either to swap utilities over via emails from our system, or to use one utility bill, HomeBox, Moving Hub, etc. So again, we just believe in that expansive range of different products and sort of acting as a central hub to allow that. And again, with the Fixflow team, obviously, as soon as tenants move in, it can be quite a major point for maintenance being reported. And I think both our product and development teams have worked really closely to get a really heavy bi-directional, not just a simple pass a name and an email address. But, we really believe in, I think, like yourselves doing really deep integrations, which I think works well for respective customers.
Yeah, as I say, it really sounds like your software sitting as that hub in the middle, and then you've got a million things going on outside of it that your clients
I think we've got 100+ integrations now, and we're a big believer in no barriers to integrations. So we work sort of freely with all our integrating partners, and some good relationships there. And we're always happy to consider new integrations as well if customers are looking for that.
And Simon, do you feel that that's important to you? With a supplier that they are, you have different platforms that are talking to one another. Is that something that drives efficiency, helps you at all?
Yes, and we obviously we've used SME as our central sort of CRM for a long time now, and those integrations are absolutely key. And Fixflow the same way. We integrate some of our inspection software directly into Fixflow. We integrate other things into both systems. And for us as the user, I guess as the end user, or the property managers being the end user, it's just about it's pure convenience for them. It's making it intuitive, it's making it convenient, it's making it almost like an enjoyable platform to use. What you don't want is your PMs to be going on there and going, oh, dreading having to log into the software because it's bitty or it's difficult to navigate or they're not sure exactly where they can find stuff. But I think both Fixflow and SME provide us with a great solution to the needs that we have across the businesses, and I think it's absolutely integral. The software stuff now is obviously becoming more and more powerful. Every year it seems like we're the software developers, these software teams, you guys are releasing more and more features and more stuff, and it's just fantastic to see. And we're very keen to be involved in that kind of stuff, involved in those conversations. I know I've worked a lot with Fixflow specifically around features and working out, little nuances, I guess, to the user experience. So that's been very helpful.
But it's important to never stop moving as well. I mean, we've been developing support for about 18 years now, and even last year we still did about 600 software releases, to give you an idea. So it's, ourselves, Fixflow, we never stop developing in that side of things.
And I guess all ties back into that, that culture and being people focused. Really, you want to provide people with an easy thing to do, really, and something that's not going to make them pull their hair out. So yeah, that all makes complete sense. So back to you, Simon. How has Umega managed the workload of increased issues reported over winter? I know you mentioned having, luckily having that kind of home repairs arm, which must really help with that. But yeah, how do you deal with the increased workload?
Yeah, we do. We're very lucky with it, and I guess I know there's a mention as well about contractors and stuff. It's very easy for us. We've got an in-house team that can do a huge amount of that work. Obviously, we also have a fantastic network of external contractors. We've been very lucky. Some of our external or third-party contractors we've been working with for 10, 11, 12 years. They're very trusted. They're very close to us. They're very close to the business. We treat them like our own. We treat them like our own staff when they come into the office and they're picking up keys, and we set up processes and systems to help them, to help make it as easy as possible for them. Obviously, with the increased issues reported over the winter, we know it's coming, right? We're 16, 17 years in. We understand the game now. We understand what's going to come, so we can preempt it. We put resource into the team at times where we know we're going to need it. But the Fixflow system for reporting repairs is fantastic. We do a lot of training with our team to make sure they're using the system as it's intended. I think it's also very easy on softwares, and you guys, I'm sure, know this better than me, to sort of come up with your own sort of solution and not kind of do it the way it's designed to be used. And I think we do work very closely. We put them through the Fixflow Academy, make sure that they've done their training and their learning, make sure they're using the system properly, they're using their due dates, they're using their comments, they're liaising with tenants and landlords and contractors through the system the right way, and that helps hugely. I mean previously, stuff would come in via email, and you sort of you'd email your contractor or you'd phone your contractor, and there was just like, there could be stuff everywhere. But having it very centralized and having everything working through that sort of single piece of software really helps us. And like I say, a great network of external contractors, and also 10 of our own guys who are out there in their vans doing their thing, and doing it to an extremely high level in Edinburgh. So that's which makes it a lot easier for us.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Do you try and bring any planned maintenance forward into the summer? So if you've got EICRs due in January, for example, do you try and bring them forward at all, or do you kind of leave that for the winter?
We don't actually. We've been using the planned maintenance feature on Fixflow for a few years now. So I think when we first brought it all in and sort of automated everything, obviously it was a big piece of work bringing all the dates into Fixflow and making sure that we're doing all of our planned maintenance in that way. It's leveled off now, I would say. We basically preempt our contractors. Our contractors know. We've got a gas engineer that's been with us for 12 years. He knows the dates of every single gas safety. He knows them better than I do. He knows them better than Fixflow does, probably. He's not waiting for the instructions. He knows the ins and outs of what we're doing, and we've got those types of relationships across the board with electricians, with plumbers, and we're doing a lot of our own certs in-house as well now. So yeah, we don't need to necessarily plan things seasonally. We try to move out of the summer, if anything, to make sure that we've got capacity to do those relets and to make sure that we're Edinburgh's a busy student town.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say
summer is a very, very busy time. But yeah, we've we've been with it for a few years now, and we're very on top of it. We've got a compliance department as well. We've got a fantastic compliance manager and a great team of people that specifically look after the planned maintenance as well. So, and they're doing a great job.
Great. Thanks for that. So I think you've sort of answered this a little bit, but yeah, have you ever struggled to find reliable contractors over a busy winter?
And there's people going to be watching that are going to be pulling their hair out, because I'm going to say absolutely no. We don't struggle. We've again, and this is, I speak regularly with other operations managers and directors from other letting agencies. We all speak to each other and try and share information and help each other out. And people are out there going, "How are you doing this?" I said, it's never been an issue for us. We've just done a really nice job bringing in those external guys, and like I say, we treat them like they're our own. We treat them like they work at Umega, they work for Umega. And the guys that we've got in house are just great. We've got a team manager and a coordinator that works in that team, so they look after the guys out on the road. The compliance team look after all the dates and the scheduling and all that sort of work for the planned maintenance, and the guys themselves are allowed to go out and they plan their own reactive stuff. So we haven't struggled, touch wood, so far in the years that I've been here. And the contractors we've got are just great. I can't speak highly enough of them. I'm smiling. It's so easy for us.
I think that is unique. Yeah, I don't think we hear that. I don't know, Fraser, if you have many clients who feel that they echo that sentiment, or do you think that is a challenge for most of your clients?
I think it depends on the client. Obviously, the larger the client, the more influence they'll have over the contractors as well. So it's from that perspective. But there's a lot of good contractors out there doing a lot of good work.
Great. And so moving on to a bit more about compliance and regulation, really. Yeah, this is a question for you, Fraser. Obviously, you've SME's been running for years and years with tons of clients, as we said. What do you think has been the toughest regulatory change for your agents and their landlords so far?
Well, yeah, so it's always interesting. This is probably one that's more local to our Scottish customers. So it's we're as many people know, we're the largest provider in Scotland of property software, but also we're all across the UK in terms of our customer base. But what's quite interesting is the Scottish Government can tend to bring in pieces of legislation that actually a number of years later quite often go the rest of UK, everything from tenant fees, land registration, certain types of compliance. So it's quite nice. We're able to get a lot of these things embedded in many years before they then roll out to the rest of our customer base potentially. But there's a few ones that have been coming in recently that have been really, I think, challenging a lot of our customers. And one of them in particular has been lead testing in the pipes and properties, because obviously something goes wrong there and you're looking to strip up all the floors. But I think what's been difficult about that is, the water supply regulations ultimately, stipulate a concentration no more than 10 micrograms per litre. But the Scottish Government, I think, initially tried to go in at more like 3 micrograms per litre. Then straight away, you can't use your test strips to test the water. So you actually need to get a laboratory involved. And poor Scottish Water and other utility providers didn't expect the massive influx of people requesting testing. There just wasn't enough lab space. And the government is flip-flopping between whether or not the labs had to be accredited or not, or whether they just had to have the right equipment. So I think that's been a real challenge to people, just getting all that one over the hill, especially with all the sort of uncertainty about what the legislation actually meant. So that's been tricky.
And forgive my naivety here, but how much warning do you typically get when there are these big changes, or how much warning do the clients get? Is it, are we talking 6 months, a year, or is it quite snappy?
I mean, it depends what it is. I mean, sometimes fairly major bits of legislation can come out, and as a software provider, you're getting the knowledge about it the same day as all the other agents having to adhere to it, and you have to update your software fairly rapidly to accommodate it. I mean, I think with it. With this one, for example, there's plenty of advance warning of it, but it was at one point it was said that the labs didn't need to be accredited. Then suddenly later on they decided they did, when lots of people had already done them or were in the process of doing them, and there was accommodation made to that. But it was just lack of clarity, I think, around some of these things that haven't been fully thought through, and whether they're actually just pushing to too high a standard, from that perspective.
Sense. And just a reminder for all the attendees on the webinar, we've had a few questions in already for the end of the session, but please get your questions in, and we'll be delighted to answer them. The next question on a similar vein for you, Simon, is what steps do you typically take when these new legislations come in or new laws come in?
Yeah, we have a director-led legislative sort of team task force that looks at the new legislation that comes in. We decide on, I guess, our stance on it. And, sometimes there's some sort of discretion with the Scottish legislation changes. You have to sort of go in and decipher it and figure out kind of what it looks like and what it means for you. And then we go out and we create processes with the department managers or operations managers who are looking after those parts of the business. We always bring our team in. So if we're looking at like we're discussing the lead water testing there, we'll bring in the compliance manager. She's got the most sort of front hand knowledge of what's going on. So we bring these people in. Bring people in who sit in the knowledge. It's not for us necessarily at director level to create the process that's going to be enacted. We will create the stance the company is taking and how we're going to approach it strategically. But then we'll bring in team managers that are sitting in that knowledge. They will build the processes. They'll build out with their teams, and they'll do the training and the rollout, I guess. And yes, it's not always easy. Doing it, but most of the time we're able to act pretty quickly. We're a fairly small sort of management team, and we're able to react pretty quickly. We're able to be pretty nimble, and I guess we everything we're doing is led by the government, but is led by us just trying to do the right thing by the people that are under our stewardship. That's the most important thing. That's the lens at which we look at everything through, and that makes it fairly easy for us to go make pretty quick decisions, bring people in, make process changes, and roll stuff out company wide.
Makes sense. It allows you to be quite agile, I guess. Yeah, which is really important, isn't it? Great. So Fraser, I'll ask you this one first. If you could go back in time, is there anything you do differently?
What would we do differently?
And you can say no. Yeah.
No, I did. We've been fairly happy with things we've done over the years, the way we do it. But what I'd say to any business that's scaling or growing in the way that Omega have is, I would always say the most important thing to me is getting very in-depth processes and checklists in place, combining that with software that's out there. I mean, we built our whole company around that concept, but even though we did as much as we could, I think you can always do more. And I think, the thing I always say to customers is that, you step foot on a plane and the pilot will be read a checklist that they'll go through before taking off, even though they've done it thousands of times before. And I think those checklists in every business are just so important. I think we've got something like a 200-point employee start checklist that goes off to all different people in the business when someone starts with us. But having that written down, it means that often when you're scaling at the sort of speed, say Omega are, it can often be too late when you're bringing on the employees, if you know what I mean. So if you're then having to train them, it becomes much harder. So I think that's the one thing I would always say is, if I go back in time, even though we put in processes and checklists, I would put them in more and more. And I don't think you can ever have enough of that side of things in a business.
Yeah, makes complete sense. Simon, same question to you.
I think at times, or possibly at times, we lost sight a little bit of the customer, and I think that there were times in the last probably couple of years where we actually moved a little bit away from the kind of things I've been talking about earlier around making people-based decisions and bringing in knowledge, I guess, to where the decisions are being made. I think there was a couple of times, or the last couple of years where we maybe moved a little bit away from that. We created a bit of a bulky sort of lettings management team, which didn't really work that well. And again, it took us away from that agility that we've got now, and it took us away from that just bringing in people who are sitting in amongst the information. And I think we kind of went to a more traditional sort of boardroom sort of lettings management team style, and we just moved a little bit too far away from the customer. We stopped really. And this didn't last long, probably 6 months or so before we sort of got ourselves out of it, but just kind of stopped really asking the question about what does the customer need, what does the customer want, and sort of sitting in a room making decisions based on the things that you think are happening, which is a dangerous place to be. And it's very easy, I think, when you're maybe scaling to sort of go, right, we're going to need to sort of formalize all this stuff, and we're going to change the way we're going to do it. We're all going to sit in a room and make decisions. And actually we realized, do you know what, that just doesn't work for us. It's not who we are, and it just doesn't work for us. So what we did off the back of that is basically there are no non-customer facing roles at Umega, and that includes me. I speak to customers on a weekly basis. I make it my business to make sure I'm consulting with customers. I'm courtesy calling customers. I'm speaking to my customers all the time because that informs my decision making. And like I say, we bring in the people who have the knowledge to help make the decisions. And I think that's the other big thing. I think as an organizational leader, for me, it's very easy to sort of sit and stuff will come across your desk and I'll make decisions and bat it back out. And actually, I'm probably not the person that should be making those decisions. I need to be consulting the people that have got the information. And we make that our business to do it. And that's very prevalent in my thinking all the time is, make sure we're asking the customer, make sure we're asking the stakeholder, make sure we're asking the people that have got the information. And that's working well for us. So we're in a good place at now. But yeah, there was probably a time where we lost sight of that a little bit, and I would definitely go back and do that differently.
That's great to hear. And I think, Fraser, I'm sure you can echo all of that, can't you? I think, when we've been working with SME, it's such a customer-centric business, and you can really see the importance of that and the benefits it brings, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely. I mean, for us, customer service is key, and it's such an important thing. And just keeping in touch with all your customers as well. And even I'm regularly speaking myself to customers. I always want to know how everyone's getting on, that sort of thing. So it's definitely.
Brilliant. So we'll move on to the Q&A. So as I say, we had a handful of questions already. And everyone attending, you can ask these with your name on. You can ask these anonymously, whatever you prefer, really. But just the first one, which is from Nora Singh. This is for Simon. The question is: hello, as you are quite a big agency, what will your advice be for growing to smaller ones who are managing 200 to 300 properties? And thank you.
Yeah, I think that getting like we discussed earlier, you need to have a really core solid base of software that you're going to work on. And I think SME and Fixflow are two softwares that you can really do that with. If you're a smaller agency, I don't think you can be chewing up time with inefficient processes and manually like we're saying, manually taking checklists or manually trying to do things in terms of managing your properties. I think creating some really efficient really efficient processes on some great softwares is a fantastic start. I think you can do that even as a smaller agency. You don't need to manage 2,200 properties to be able to utilize Fixflow and SME. I think you can do that as a smaller agency, and we certainly did it as a much smaller agency. So I think that would be it. I guess the other thing is, if you've got people in your business, it's just making sure that they're the right people for you and what you're looking for and the service you're looking to give. And listen, not everybody's like us, right? Not everybody provides this, or not everybody's trying to provide the same type of service that we are. There are other letting agents and estate agents that are out there who offer a very different type of service and are also doing a good job. So it's not for me to say that our style is right, but it's our style and we're true to it. And I think we understand that. And I think that, maybe you create that style in your own business and stay true to it for sure, because the times we've lost sight of it, the times where we've sort of struggled in that growth or struggled to give great service or to do the right things. So yeah, that's what I would say. Software as a foundation, but the right people for sure.
Do you know how many properties you managed when you took on SME?
Oh,
left field question. Yeah, we'll have to dig into the data.
Maybe 600, something like that.
Wow.
It wouldn't have been that. It would, yeah. What was it? I say it was 9 years ago. You guys came on board, so you really grew
maybe less than 500.
So
yeah, maybe less than 500.
Yeah, I guess that's testament that you don't have to be 1,000, 2,000 to get software in place. That makes sense.
No.
The next question is for Fraser. What do you think the toughest challenge that your clients are facing is over the next few years?
Challenge. I think for some of our residential sales customers, there's certainly challenges in the sales market for them. I think again, it's just the changing landscape of some of the legislation that's coming in, and some of it can be quite scary when you see it, and that side of things. No fault evictions, that sort of things. But obviously, again, it's interesting if you compare it to the Scottish market to the rest of the UK. It comes in and you find out these things don't actually make as big a difference it's easy to have the fear regarding them. But I think as if you're a well-run business, you adapt quite quickly to all these things and all these changes, and just business continues, if you know what I mean.
Great, thank you. The next one is for Simon. How active are you in social media? Where are you advertising?
Yeah, we're very active in social media. It's one of our business strategies across the three businesses, that social media, Google, online, web SEO optimization, our web design and the user experience of going through using our website, these kind of things. Our website, we're doing some work on at the moment just to again further optimize that user experience. It's massively important for us. We use Google SEO to make sure people can find us, essentially. And we also have a strong review culture. We ask for reviews. We encourage our customers to give us reviews, good, honest feedback. We don't sort of go out there asking for 5-star reviews, although I wish we could sometimes. But we ask for honest and fair reviews from our tenants, from our landlords, from anybody externally that Umega Home Repairs are using. So those reviews also help. That social proof that good reviews and consistent good review numbers can give you is also very strong. And I certainly wouldn't overlook the power of social proof and having those reviews on your website, having them on your social media. Shout about your customers' feedback for sure. I think that's an important strategy. But yeah, we have an in-house content creation team, so we've got everything in-house that we do. We create our own content for estate agency, for lettings, and for Umega Home Repairs, which is fantastic, having somebody out there full time. And they're also in the office taking photos of us all while we're working and all that kind of stuff as well. And it's a lot of fun
and stuff as well, I hope.
Yeah. There's a bit of that. I'm not quite of the TikTok generation I'd like to share, but it works. It works for sure. So it's nice. Sorry, go on, please.
No, just because I want to add something just in terms of what you mentioned about reviews and that side of things. And that I think a lot of letting agents sometimes forget about the tenants a little bit, especially towards the end of the tenancy, the deposits, that side of things. And some of the best agencies we know in terms of growth have come from the way they treat the tenants. And sometimes it's not worth the battle over small monies at deposit ends and that side of things. And if you treat the tenants really well, you get the good reviews there from them. That helps, helps how you look online. But I think also this helps reputation wise and recommendations wise, because so many tenants know landlords, and it's stating the obvious, but sometimes something I think a lot of agencies miss. But we've just on the side, we work with the Umega team on their website as well from that perspective, and it is an important aspect, isn't it, in terms of I think your social media that you guys do is really strong.
Yeah, it's great, and again, that is a top level sort of business strategy across the board. So that's the level of importance it's given. It's not something we do ad hoc or just when we have time. It's something that's central to our brand, and it's it's something that the people need to be sure to be doing consistently and at a high level. I think also with social media, I'm talking about having a content creation team in house and making it sound almost unattainable for smaller businesses. Consistency is also a key for social media. Your content doesn't need to look like a Hollywood picture. It needs to be consistent, engaging, and probably just honest and true, like to what your business actually is like. I think that kind of stuff can work really well as well. So if you're not of the size where you can have a guy going around with a gimbal and a big fancy camera, that's okay. An iPhone and a bit of creativity and a bit of will also will get you a long way.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, in terms of SEO side of things, a lot of the time it's just for those that aren't aware, it's really good to concentrate on material that's what's quite often called evergreen. It's long-term material that'll sit on your website for a long time, and it's answering questions people want to know. Don't necessarily try and sell yourself, just position yourselves as the experts in that market. Or if you are, for example, smaller agents, you're not going to as easily compete with some of the larger agents from an SEO perspective. So try to target less common areas of lettings, if you know what I mean, or less common phrases, and perform well for less search terms rather than badly for more search terms.
Completely agree. So we've got a couple more, but yeah, everyone attending, if you do want to ask a question, now's your chance. This one is for Simon. Which tier of Fixflow do you use? We currently use the basic version, but think we can get more from the system. And then Simon, from an agent's perspective, what are the benefits of being on one of the higher tiers if you are on a higher one?
You are really testing me now because I don't know.
I could have written that one, yeah.
We are, I think we're on the fix. It changed its name recently, so I don't really want to say the wrong name.
If you're using plan maintenance, you're on professional or manager.
We're on.
So one of the higher tiers.
Yeah, we're on professional. Yeah, basically what it gives us is the ability to create our automation around planned maintenance. We also have we also do all of our in-house stuff comes through Fixflow as well. So the benefits are that we get the best features. We're a big agency with, like I say, 2,200 plus properties. There's a lot of safety certs in there. There's a lot of stuff to control, and compliance is obviously at the very highest level of importance at Umega. So not having to worry about those certs lapsing, those HMO certificates, you know, they're the big one. If you miss that by half an hour, the Edinburgh City Council are going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. So we're all over it with our compliance, and it allows us to do our reporting as well. All of these things are obviously make up part of our company KPIs. So our compliance manager brings all the stats that come along out of Fixflow into those meetings, and that's what we discuss, and that's what we create our tactics around achieving our full compliance. So lots of benefits to using the top Fixflow package. I think when I came here, we never used to have it, and we sort of kind of like I was talking about earlier, when you sort of have a software and you've kind of cobbled together a bit of a solution using the sort of free bits. And it was okay, and the chat was, you know, we've kind of played around with this Fixflow thing. It's maybe not going to be for us. And actually, when a few of us at the time dug our teeth into it, we thought, listen, this is a serious piece of kit. We can do some really good work here. So yeah, explore the options. I'm sure there's a rep that'll happily speak to you at Fixflow and sell you the packages, go through the features with you, and do the bit. The guys at Fixflow are good. They do a good job of that. So yeah, it's definitely worth it for me.
Great. So we've got time for one final question, and it's finally for you, Simon. What is your strategy to reach elderly landlords who are not using social media?
Yeah, so we have cold leads essentially, which are people that are coming just out with any of our networks. We also have sort of warm leads and Umega friendlies. So they're people that we can reach through our networks in Edinburgh. So obviously our directors are connected around a lot of property businesses and property people around the city. So we're always out there looking for people just using our network for those Umega friendlies. So I guess having a more direct strategy for elderly landlords who are not on social media is not necessarily something we have. We're not out flyer dropping, for example, but we do systematically and very purposefully reach out to those Umega friendlies that we have. So that's even friends and family of staff, friends and family of landlords. You know, we have a huge network of people who are willing to sort of do the sell for us, sell the business for us, knowing that they've had a good experience with us, for example. So yeah, while we don't necessarily go out and do flyer drops or anything, we do capture a lot of these types of landlords through our wider networks. Also, our archetypal landlord is not the business, it's not the professional landlord necessarily. It's not the business landlord that has 10 properties or has 15 properties and is running it as a business. Our archetypal landlord is somebody who maybe lived in the property previously, or somebody who maybe has moved abroad, or somebody who's moved in with somebody else, or who's moved on but want to keep the property. So we often find those types of people, just because the style of business that we also get those people quite organically. So that works quite well for us. Okay.
Anyway, thank you, everybody.
Fraser, I guess it's up to us to wrap up then.
Yep. So no, it was a pleasure.
Thanks very much for your time.
Excellent. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye for now.